You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we're going to talk about Mac Jones because we got a breaking news story here, and I think it's, I'm a little surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised a month ago to hear this story, but then today I am sort of surprised because there was some movement in the direction and some thoughts that, at the very least, the Patriots would choose to maybe bring back Mac Jones as a backup quarterback because of his salary, and they'd either sign another veteran or they'd open it up for competition between, say, Mac Jones and a Jakobi Brissett. But it looks like Mac Jones's career with the New England Patriots is over. And I'm going to tell you, I just pulled up, you guys know I do some research before I make these videos. There's Mac Jones right there, and this was the 2021 QB ranks on PFF, and he was ranked then as the 14th, and this was the final rankings for the season. Right there, final QB rankings, and he came in as the 14th best quarterback out of, and the way those ranks work, I mean, now this final one had just 32 on it, or let's see, how many did it have on there? Yeah, 32. They just showed the top 32 on this older ranking, but nonetheless, he was a 14th ranked best quarterback in the league, and now he's got no Patriots career anymore, or it looks that way. Now, what's even stranger about this is the report that the Patriots are trying to trade the number 3 overall pick. So you're not taking Jaden Daniels or Drake May, and you're cutting Mac Jones. Do we know what's going on in New England right now? Because I'm not quite entirely sure. The New England Patriots are in the middle of a franchise-altering offseason in more ways than one. Not only have they changed head coaches for the first time in a quarter century, moving on from Bill Belichick to Jerod Mayo, they also have made a decision about the future of the quarterback position. It seems the former first-round investment, Mac Jones, will not be part of that process, though. According to a report by NFL Network, the 25-year-old is a realistic candidate to get traded this offseason. Okay, so let's go over to the report. Dov Cleveland has got this out by way of Ian Rappaport. Patriots quarterback Mac Jones' time in New England likely over per Ian Rappaport. Even though Bill Belichick is gone, Mac Jones, who lost the starting role and ended up third string by the end of the 2023 season, is a trade candidate in the coming weeks and most likely will end up elsewhere for the 2024 season. And it asks the question, who should pick him up? Now, if you're clever and you like humor, some people might say the UFL. No, okay? But look, he desperately needs to go to one of these quarterback gurus, one of these Shanahan quarterback kind of gurus, a Sean McVay, maybe Kyle Shanahan himself, who was such a big fan of Mac Jones. Mac Jones arrived in New England as the 15th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The Alabama product showed considerable promise out of the gate, leading the team to a 10-7 record and spot in the playoffs, but he has struggled in back-to-back years now. Jones failed to build on the encouraging rookie campaign in 2022, struggling to adapt to changes in personnel around him and seemingly to defenses having more tape on him. Are you literally not going to mention Matt Patricia and Joe Judge? Okay. His issues did not only continue last season, but actually culminated in him getting benched 4 times in favor of backup Bailey Zappi and eventually losing his starting job. He had a 64.9% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks. It was a disaster. And I knew something was very, very wrong when he threw that interception in Germany. And he looks like a quarterback that was absolutely shell-shocked. Now, you may wonder what this is. I'm bringing this up because this is the 2021 roster on offense. And there's 3 additions on this that I think had a lot to do with his success. Damian Harris was part of that roster. Jakobi Meyers, of course, was still part of that roster. Even Nelson Aguilar, who's no world beater, was still part of that roster. But the fact is, he had more outlets to get the ball to, and his protection that season was certainly not great, but it was much better than it was this season. So it's turned out to be an utter and complete disaster. And they've got to totally rework that offensive side of the ball. I don't know what they're going to do. They need maybe they should trade down, because I made the case last night in the video where we were talking about the Patriots trading that pick. And look, a lot of people, if they sign a veteran quarterback, a bridge, which I said last night, Jacoby Brissett seems like a natural fit because of Alex Van Pelt and the Browns connection, obviously. Plus, he's an expatriate. Jerod Mayo's obviously going to have some kind of connective tissue to Jacoby Brissett as well. And then maybe you draft a quarterback later. Do you take Joe Alt? Do you take Marvin Harrison Jr.? I can see a case for both. A lot of people, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. But with the reports of them wanting to trade back and accumulate picks, what are they going to do? Now, you've got good quarterbacks later. I'm a big Michael Penix guy, Michael Penix Jr., but he's got injury concerns. He's a little later in the draft. You might be able to get him late first, early second round is where you're looking at Penix Jr. I think Bo Nix will be long gone, and I'm not the biggest Bo Nix guy anyway. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes with Mac Jones. I would look at a Sean McVay. I would look at Kyle Shanahan. I would look at Andy Reid. I mean, look, coming out of Alabama, a cerebral kind of quarterback in Mac Jones. Look, his arm is strong enough. Does he have a cannon like Rodgers or Josh Allen or Brett Favre? No. He's got a very average arm, and it does hurt him. But, there was a time, and I always try to bring this up when we're talking about Mac Jones. There was a time when they were ready to run Tua Tagovailoa out of Miami. They were calling him a bust. Brian Flores tried to trade for Deshaun Watson. I kid you not. And instead, they got a Mike McDaniel. They got Jalen Waddle. They got Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert. And now that they got another running back, David Alshane, down there on that team. They put weapons around Tua, and, he was up there, sort of in that MVP race the last couple of years, at least a good ways through the season, both years. It's funny what weapons can do, and if you get some protection, they got Teron Armstead down there as their, one of their tackles. Well, that helps a lot. It does. I mean, Mac is a guy, you got to put the guys around him. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not going to be that kind of guy, but how many are? I'm going to tell you what's crazy. As I was looking at that 2021 end-of-season PFT rank, or PFF rank, it's absolutely amazing the quarterbacks that are on there that are now considered. I mean, Garoppolo was, I think, 12th. The 12th ranked best quarterback in the league in 2021. Ryan Tannehill was like 13th. I mean, people are wondering, could Garoppolo end up back in New England? That's always possible. If he decides to keep playing, If they would have hired Mike Vrabel, I would have been like Ryan Tannehill, because Arthur Smith would have probably been the offensive coordinator. I don't know. It's crazy. The Mac Jones era is coming to an end. Now comes the interesting part of where does he end up and how does this play out? Does he end up like Geno Smith, Rich Gannon, some of these guys that had a career reboot? I always remind people, Alex Smith was a full-blown bust for the first 6 or 7 years of his career till Jim Harbaugh came along. And look, Mac Jones in his rookie year looked light years better than Alex Smith in Alex Smith's first 5 or 6 years. So there's something there. It's just going to be up to the right offensive coach to be able to do something with him. It was a disaster. I call the second year of a quarterback's progression after getting drafted the most important year, because it's where they take that step about halfway through the season, but you never ever expect, something like Matt Patricia and Joe Judge being the offensive coordinators during a quarterback's second year, the most important year. And I do believe there is a world, and this is kind of sad to say, but there is a world where Mac Jones's career is just done. Like where he ends up in 4 or 5 years, sort of like a Mark Sanchez, and then he's off to call college football games and be a college football analyst. I do think that world exists too. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.